Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening, my sister.
Sorry, I couldn't join on time. Network was just messing.
Well, when you said you were ready, it was about 30 minutes to the
Okay.
normal class. So I was already busy with some other things. So and that means
Okay.
maybe we check on some other time. Except maybe, of course, that's what we are going to do. You know, typically I think we seem to have been done just to begin to review. People should begin to send an assignment, we review assignment, until most people are very comfortable or confident of within themselves to go into the exam. That's what we're going to be doing now.
Okay.
So that's it. All right. So anyway, let's see whether we can begin to do your own, since that's what we're doing.
Okay. But have you been receiving the combined ones I've been sending?
Yes.
Okay. If I didn't get any reply, I said maybe you are busy.
You know, since we have been doing the in class kind of how do I put it now, review, so for everybody.
Yes.
That's why I've not been doing, because I don't know whether it is printer or my phone or what. There has not been too good feedback in terms of scanning back the work to.
Okay.
So
it might be the camera.
Oh, it's a pretty good camera, so it's quite good. Yeah, I mean,
or the lighting,
well, maybe because I made sure I spent a fortune. Phone for me is not a luxury; it's a tool for work. So
of course,
that's I typically make sure that I spend quite listening on my phones before I you know. So that's
or maybe you should try using flash when you want to snap because even the one you sent to me, it was a bit blurred, and I was wondering why it's like that. The one you sent, the very first one you sent to me.
Very first one.
I couldn't see your writing very well.
I think I would probably figure that out and see how best that can be handled. So now, so it is basically we try to review, make sure that all our students are, they get good feedback on their work for those people who have been turning in their assignments. So I think let's just begin. There isn't time to waste. There is a class immediately after this one, so there isn't so much time to waste. Okay, so let's share.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. So you're welcome. I hope your day was fine, and I hope you had a very good one today. So we're going to start. Okay, I think the owner of this essay is not in class yet, so I may not treat this one yet. So let's go to the ones the people who are turning their assignments and they're in class. So I have a couple of assignments here. I'm expecting students to begin to turn in, we will go for another maybe one after this week, we'll go for another maybe 1 or 2 weeks of reviewing assignments, hoping that anybody who is serious should be ready should be ready for, should have been ready for the exam. Because quite, I don't know. Some people, they say that they are busy, the work is this, the work is that. 90%, if not, okay, not even 90%, 100% of people in this class are typically working class. So, which means that everybody goes to work and then they still manage to get the assignment done. So, that's the reason why I'm using the word quite serious. So we'll see quite a number of assignments this morning, this evening, and see how we can review a lot and see how we can become better with every assignment that we review. I think I wouldn't be reviewing anybody who's not in class yet. So that would. Okay. Sorry, just allow me a little bit. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's see how we can move on from here. And now copy with me. Okay. So we see we have okay, let's. So we start from here, and now if you let me say this, that if you know that in the next 1 or 2 weeks or 3, you should be writing your assignment, please. It is the point where you begin to turn in listening, reading, writing like that indiscriminately without stop. Just continue to turn in your assignments without hesitation, so that as soon as you get them, begin to review them. Now, this is a question by one of us, and it says you recently attended a meeting at the hotel. When you return home, you found you had left some important papers at the hotel. Write a letter. Sorry about that. Write a letter to the manager of the hotel. In your letter, say where you think you left the papers. Explain why you why they are so important. Tell the manager what you want him or her to do. So, dear sir, my name is Mr. Olu Jacobs, and I lodge now. Typically, I wouldn't. There's no need for this. There's no need for a name, as far as I'm concerned. We have quite a number of schools of thought, but for me, there's no need for name at this level. You're not meant to put in your name here. I think you just. I'm writing to inform you that I Okay, so it's here. Okay, but let's see. And I launched at your hotel last week, precisely Friday, 21st of April, in order to attend a business meeting. So I think you should just start with, I am writing to inform you that I forgot some vital documents in your lodge, in the room where I lodged. Let me rewrite that. As far as I'm concerned, though. Okay, let me just ask. The one of these questions should respond. How did you come about this approach of having to write your name first before going to talk about the deal, the major thing you need to write, you need to discuss? Please respond.
I think I saw a write-up online, an IELTS write-up, but I just also thought that for record purpose, because you are writing to the manager who probably doesn't know you, you may need to explain like the dates and the dates when you came in, so that they can use the records to find your details.
I don't have. So
there's no hard and fast rule.
I don't have problem with the dates and the details. I have problem with the name coming first.
Okay.
So can you offer any explanation as to why you think are you using a particular source that has told you that names have to come first in such things like this?
No.
Now, so let's.
Nothing like that.
Yes. Name does not have to come first. So I'm removing that. Then you come to say, I am writing to inform you that I forgot some vital documents in your room where I lodged. Then we can now begin to give details. Paste. Writing to inform you that I forgot some vital details, documents in the room where I lodged, in the room where I lodged at your hotel last week, precisely where I lodged at your hotel last week, precisely Friday, 21st April 20, in order to attend a business meeting. Okay, and I would like to solicit your assistance to get them sent to me as soon as possible. This is as professional as possible. Go straight to the point. If there is a need for you to bring in dates, fine. But go straight to the point, tell them why you are writing, and tell them this. There is a purpose for the, what's it called now? There's a purpose for the writing. Go straight to the purpose, all right? Go straight to the purpose, and after which you would have gone straight to the purpose, then you go into other details. Regarding where you can find the papers, I think I kept them in a green transparent file under the drawer mat in the study table drawer. I don't understand the two drawers there now. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just even saying this one.
Madam, I go use cane.
One should go.
You should.
Sorry.
Before you submit your work, try to, as much as possible, proofread your work. Proofreading is a lifesaver. It can save you from being given a 6.5 and take you to the next level, which is 7.5. The difference between these things could actually be between 6.5 and 7.5 could actually be as small as 0.25. So please make sure that you don't submit anything without proofreading. And proofreading, because the examiner would not in any way look at you. You will not be there to explain why you made the mistake. So please always proofread. Regarding when you find the paper, I think I kept them in the green transparent and under the drawer mat. So which one goes first now? Under drawer mat in the study table drawer in
No,
room.
it should be study table. The drawer shouldn't come in. I think there was a
Under the,
when I was trying to
is it
delete
under the, now, is it under the drawer mat in a study
the
table?
drawer mat in the table. That's the like a drawer that has a mat. Just putting it
So
under inside the
under,
drawer. Maybe I need to put those long story.
so under the drawer mat in the study table, so the second drawer should go away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In
Yes.
room 113 where I stayed, I remember looking for a safe place to keep them free from liquid stains, as these papers contain the signatories of all the business partners that is required, signatories that is required, that I think that are required for the governor's approval, Abby.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Required for the governor's approval of our upcoming project. When you find these documents, I'm sure some people are going to be wondering that I said, Madam, I go use Kano. That's my own way. I've had to threaten a physical student that if the student makes a mistake, a particular mistake, I'll be correcting her, and I'm going to twist her ear. You know how they twist people's ear when they don't hear word, so to speak. I was threatening her that I was going to twist her ear, that, but before I do that, I will have to take her husband's number, call her husband, and take permission to do that. And I'm sure she took it home. I said, do you know what my teacher told me this day? My teacher said she was going to twist my ears if I made this particular mistake again. And he said he was going to take permission from me before they did that. And the husband was like, please don't let your teacher do that. Oh. Just go ahead and do whatever you need to do. So it's just by the way. I have funny ways of making things sink. I've even had to make sure that a student who did not proofread her work, and she's a perennial she perennially does not proofread her work. She almost always does not proofread her work. I've had her to write. I will always proofread my work about 500 times in a 2D. You know, it could be that serious. When your children see you, I'm sure when your children see you that you are having to write, use 2D, and you are writing, Mommy, what are you doing? I'm doing my assignment. And what is your assignment? You are writing, I will always proofread my work before submission in 500 times. I think that punishment, so to speak, is, helps the students to want to sit tight. So I have several ways of listening. I know I work with adults, working class people, and I have a couple of funny ways to make sure that, jokingly, that we just make ourselves do the right thing. So else, working class people have a way of giving excuses for not doing some things, and yet they wouldn't know that they do not know that it is for themselves, not for the teacher. So that's why I just listen, just a little explanation. I remember looking for a safe place to keep it free from stains, as these papers contain the signatories of all the business partners that are required for the governor's approval of our upcoming projects. When you find this document, kindly send them by courier and I'll reimburse all expenses. The destination address is, there's no need for colon, since you said is SS Industries, 27 Macaulay. Macaulay Way. Macaulay seemed to be a bit distant, but then your Macaulay might be different from my own Macaulay, so there's no big deal. Macaulay Way, Marine and Lagos. And so thank you, intervention. And a favorable response. Yours sincerely, Mr. Jacob Olufemi. So I think those listen are taken. All right, so let's move on. Some people say, okay. Let's see. Let me see some other. Yes.
Question. I'm still a bit confused as per the closure. Now, is this anticipation that we normally use in the office for your anticipated, all those things that we normally use? Is it correct for IELTS? Is it okay? Is it okay for IELTS? No, we use those words a lot.
In the office.
For your anticipated prompt response, thank you for your anticipated action, prompt action, something like that. Thank you in advance for your other small words.
Anticipation is better than in advance. Just my opinion, but I think I prefer anticipation than saying in advance. So I think Mr. Tunde was trying to come at it.
Yes, I want to talk on the last, the conclusion. The last is putting Mr. Does she need to put Mr.?
I don't think there is need for that.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's need for that. Of course, if you want to put a particular title, maybe maybe the person has a title that's maybe a doctor now, you can just put it in the bracket after the name, not necessarily before it. So that's it. Thank you for raising that. So, Mr. Ezekiel, can we have your contribution?
Yes, I just want to raise it. Why do we have this people on the line? Observe that once you put you from where to the line is, you are not where that you for the R.
The difference why it is underlining favorable is because my own computer here is I think is set with what's it called now, British English, and maybe she wrote on a computer with American English set as the default language. So that's why it's underlined. But in your exam, if you are going for CPT, there won't be autocorrect or short tracking device that underlines misspelled words. It won't be there. So you have to be very careful. You know your spelling. This spelling actually, your American spelling and British spellings are equally accepted in IELTS. American spelling and British spelling are acceptable in IELTS. So you should just be, the only thing is you should be consistent with it, whatever one you are using. If you are using American spelling, color, COLOR, American, favor, FAVOR, American. You can't use color, COLOUR at first, then use COLOR, then at another place within the same text. It will be wrong. Just be consistent with whatever you're using. So this one, she wrote with American, a computer set with American English as a default language, and my own system with British default language is finding it difficult. I mean, seeing this as an error, so which is not. IELTS allows any of either of American or British listing. So I hope that is settled, sir.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now let's move on. So this question says, some people say that in all levels of education from primary schools to university, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. Okay, so factual and practical learning processes are two forms of training that are vital for acquiring sound. So do you agree or disagree? So let's see. First of all, we need to highlight our major keywords. Some people say that in all level of education, primary schools, from primary schools to university, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. So here we have too much time in all level of education, too much time is spent on learning facts and not practical skills. So we have learning facts versus learning practical skills on different sides. So do we agree that too much time is spent on learning facts, or just we disagree that too much facts and time is spent on learning facts? Excuse me. So sorry, give me 2 minutes. I need to quickly get to do something. I'm sorry. Give me 2 minutes. So sorry, that was a bit of an issue. So go back. So I was saying that I wanted to be sure we are actually having the same, everything we need to have here. So much more is okay. Where is it now? Some people argue that much more time is dedicated to learning facts, whereas insufficient time is related to acquiring practical skills. Now, okay, and whereas insufficient time is okay, good. This essay will discuss why I do not agree with this point of view. Okay, so which is good. I was almost going to say that insufficient time, because insufficient time, I was thinking that there was no such thing that was mentioned here. So make sure that you are very, very careful not to bring in a word or a synonym that has not been reflected in the question. Of course, you can bring in something like, there has been an argument that you can go that way. There has been an argument that some people argument that not much time or very little time is spent or is used in teaching facts and not enough on practical abilities or honing practical abilities or teaching practical skills. So, but be careful not to bring in what was not in the prompt. So, I think we have a relatively good, very good introduction. Certain people think that across all levels of the education system, the time spent on learning facts is too much compared to that. Sorry about that. Too much compared to that spent on practical teaching. They may perceive factual learning as a slow method of teaching children and a waste of valuable time. Furthermore, they may be concerned that if too much time is spent on theoretical learning methods, there may not be enough time for students to practice and become competent professionals after they graduate from university. Hold on, let's hold on here. I think we are mixing up something here. The question is, the first one, okay, let me scroll up to, okay. The question is saying that, okay, you said you agree, you do not agree. You do not agree, that means you disagree that too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough learning and not enough time on learning practical skills. So you disagree that. Maybe you want to say that practical skills are equally learned, or more time is spent on practical skill, okay, or enough time is given to practical skill despite time spent on learning facts. That means to say that they have almost the same level of time given to them. But let's see, because I don't get it, seem to have deviated or changed the trajectory in this first paragraph. If you disagree, you are saying, okay, you disagree to be any of those things I mentioned. But some people think that across all levels of education, the time spent on learning facts is too much compared to that. Now, first of all, let's just look at this first sentence. This first sentence is repetitive. You don't need it. You were supposed to go straight to the point. What is the point you are making here? Now, whenever students come up with this kind of startup, it seems to be a bit poor. It means that they did not do their outline. I am tempted to think that they did not do their outline very well, that they probably did not do a good outline. And so they are just trying to start up some way, somehow. At least they just want to start up. So did you do an outline? Yes or no? Let's just start from there.
No.
Good. So my hypothesis is correct. No outline. And so you had to beat around the bush to start. Very wrong way. Do an outline. Why do you disagree? Maybe the reason why you disagree is that practical skills, number one, you have quite a number. The world is now becoming extensively showing practical ability, the deployment of practical abilities in the technological world. Now, you cannot write essay in abstract. Don't write your essay in abstract. Don't make it seem as if they're giving you one big essay, one big question that cannot be substantiated by living. Everything that you are giving can be substantiated by living, because in the first place, the question came from life. they came from life, they came from living, they came from around the world, not from Jupiter, not from Mars, not from Uranus, but from Earth. So first of all, I think the first point should have just been that if you disagree that these people, they are learning, they are not learning much practical skills. You find out that our world has a massive deployment of practical skills. You talk about people learning, what's it called now? Learning, how to code, how to write applications in the computer world. You are talking about people who graduate from school getting to, even without an MBA, even with an MBA, they get to begin to manage conglomerates almost immediately. So if you want to talk about what's it called now? In tech, that's one. Then number two, in what's it called now? In business, okay, in government, just name it. So please try as much as possible to relate. One of the ways that will help you to do a good outline is to relate your essay to what is happening, around you. What is happening around you should help you to write good outline. With good outline, then you have a trajectory. But you begin to beat around the bush if you didn't do an outline. So that's that. So they may and that is one of the reasons why. Yes.
Can I come in quickly? This essay, it seems to be talking more on the time spent. Not, are we supposed to elaborate on what is done, the practical and the factual, or just the time spent?
Okay. Now let me
That
balance.
was where I had a bit of.
It's the time.
Confusion.
It's the time.
The time.
Yes, time spent on learning facts. But how do you measure that the time spent on learning facts? I mean, you are saying there's more time learning practical skills, Abi? You are saying there's
okay, for my own.
Yes, you are
saying that the time is enough. They are saying that not enough time is given. Okay, for my own, I'm saying the time is sufficient.
It's sufficient. So
despite the fact that the other one is longer.
Okay.
Time
for practical skills is good.
For practical skills.
So let me read you again based on this new understanding from your end, and let's see. They may perceive factual learning. That's going back to those people. The people who said seem to be off for me. Just goes to the point. You and not those people now. You are happy to speak for those people. So don't refer to those people again. If you have to, you just want to probably. Some people may say that people say you should come at some advanced stage of your paragraph, not at this point. Okay, so let's go. They may perceive factual learning as a slow method of teaching children and a waste of valuable time. Certain people think that across all levels of education, the time spent on learning facts is too much compared to that spent on present. They may perceive factual learning as a slow method of teaching children and a waste of valuable time. Okay. Furthermore, they may be concerned that if too much time is spent on theoretical learning method, there may not be enough time for students to practice and become competent professionals after they graduate from the university. I don't know. To me, I've not seen the point here. I don't know whether you're feeling the same way. I don't see the point. If you are saying the time is just enough, then there should be evidences to tell us that the time is just enough, which would bring back to the particular.
This is not my own point. This is the point of the people that think that the time is too much.
Oh, okay.
This side, opposite side.
Okay, now I know where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. You're coming from the school of thoughts that says you talk about the other side first, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't buy that idea, but let's see. I'll still mark your work. So, okay. Furthermore, for instance, they may liken formal education to the apprenticeship system where the trainee reads less and is taught less. Is taught. Now, taught. T-A-U-G-H-T. Okay. spends most of the time observing what their trainer does, and in a short while, they become as good as a teacher. Thus, these reasons may prompt the assumption that less time is being dedicated to practical learning than factual learning in all levels of education. Thus, this reason may prompt the assumption that less time is being dedicated to practical learning than factual learning in all levels of education. Okay. 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 Well, let me read that place again. For instance, they may liken formal education to their apprenticeship system, where the trainee reads less and taught less, but spends most of the time observing what their trainer does, and in a short while, they become as good as a teacher. Those reasons may prompt the assumption that less time is being dedicated to practical learning than factual learning, in all education. It's 40 plus, so 40 minutes plus. Let's come back to the class as soon as possible. So continue.